Mughal Empire. Architecture. The Mughals made a major contribution to the Indian subcontinent with the development of their unique Indo-Persian architecture. Many monuments were built during the Mughal era by the Muslim emperors, especially Shah Jahan, including the Taj Mahal, a UNESCO World Heritage Site considered to be the jewel of Muslim art in India and one of the universally admired masterpieces of the world's heritage, attracting 7 to 8 million unique visitors a year. The palaces, tombs, gardens and forts built by the dynasty stand today in Agra, Aurangabad, Delhi, Dhaka, Fatehpur Sikri, Jaipur, Lahore, Kabul, Sheikhupura and many other cities of India, Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh, such as art and literature. The Mughal artistic tradition, mainly expressed in painted miniatures as well as small luxury objects, was eclectic, borrowing from Iranian, Indian, Chinese and Renaissance European stylistic and thematic elements. Mughal emperors often took in Iranian bookbinders, illustrators, painters and calligraphers from the Safavid court due to the commonalities of their Timurid styles and due to the Mughal affinity for Iranian art and calligraphy. Miniatures commissioned by the Mughal emperors initially focused on large projects illustrating books with eventful historical scenes and court life, but later included more single images for albums with portraits and animal paintings displaying a profound appreciation for the serenity and beauty of the natural world. For example, Emperor Jahangir commissioned brilliant artists such as Ustad Mansur to realistically portray unusual flora and fauna throughout the empire. The literary works Akbar and Jahangir ordered to be illustrated ranged from epics like the Raznama to historical memoirs or biographies of the dynasty such as the Baburnama and Akbarnama and Task-e-Jahangiri. Richly finished albums decorated with calligraphy and artistic scenes were mounted onto pages with decorative borders and then bound with covers of stamped and gilded or painted and lacquered leather. Aurangzeb was never an enthusiastic patron of painting, largely for religious reasons, and took a turn away from the pomp and ceremonial of the court around 1668, after which he probably commissioned no more paintings. It was also during this time period that the poet Mashafi coined the name Urdu, derived from Zaban-i-Urdu, for a language spoken along the Indus and previously went by a number of names. Language. Although Persian was the dominant and official language of the empire, the language of the elite was a Persianized form of Hindustani called Urdu. The language was written in a type of Perso-Arabic script known as Nastaliq, and with literary conventions and specialized vocabulary borrowed from Persian, Arabic and Turkic languages, the dialect was eventually given its own name of Urdu. The Mughals spoke what later became known as Urdu, and by the year 1700, the Mughals had formalized the language. Military. Gunpowder warfare. Mughal India was one of the three Islamic gunpowder empire along with the Ottoman Empire and Safavid Persia. By the time he was invited by Lodi governor of Lahore, Daulat Khan, to support his rebellion against Lodi Sultan Ibrahim Khan, Babur was familiar with gunpowder firearms and field artillery and a method for deploying them. Babur had employed Ottoman expert Ustad Ali Quli, who showed Babur the standard Ottoman formation, artillery and firearm-equipped infantry protected by wagons in the center and the mounted archers on both wings. Babur used this formation at the First Battle of Panipat in 1526, where the Afghan and Rajput forces loyal to the Delhi Sultanate, though superior in numbers but without the gunpowder weapons, were defeated. The decisive victory of the Timurid forces is one reason opponents rarely met Mughal princes in pitched battle over the course of the empire's history. In India, guns made of bronze were recovered from Calicut and Diu. Fatullah Shirazi, a Persian polymath and mechanical engineer who worked for Akbar, developed an early multi-gun shot. As opposed to the polybolos and repeating crossbows used earlier in ancient Greece and China, respectively, Shirazi's rapid-firing gun had multiple gun barrels that fired hand cannons loaded with gunpowder. It may be considered a version of a volley gun. By the 17th century, Indians were manufacturing a diverse variety of firearms. Large guns in particular became visible in Tanjore, Dakcha, Bijapur and Murshidabad. Gujarat supplied Europe saltpeter for use in gunpowder warfare during the 17th century, and Mughal Bengal and Malwa also participated in saltpeter production. The Dutch, French, Portuguese and English used Chhaprar as a center of saltpeter refining. Rocketry and explosives. In the 16th century, Akbar was the first to initiate and use metal cylinder rockets known as bands, particularly against war elephants, during the Battle of Sambal. In 1657, the Mughal army used rockets during the siege of Bidar. Prince Aurangzeb's forces discharged rockets and grenades while scaling the walls. Sidi Marjan was mortally wounded when a rocket struck his large gunpowder depot, and after 27 days of hard fighting, Bidar was captured by the Mughals. In A History of Greek Fire and Gunpowder, James Riddick Partington described Indian rockets and explosive mines. The Indian war rockets were formidable weapons before such rockets were used in Europe. They had bamboo rods, a rocket body lashed to the rod, and iron points. They were directed at the target and fired by lighting the fuse, but the trajectory was rather erratic. The use of mines and counter-mines with explosive charges of gunpowder is mentioned for the times of Akbar and Jahangir. Later, the Mysorean rockets were upgraded versions of Mughal rockets used during the siege of Jinji by the progeny of the Nawab of Arcot. Haider Ali's father Fateh Muhammad, the constable at Budikot, commanded a corps consisting of 50 rocketmen for the Nawab of Arcot. Haider Ali realized the importance of rockets and introduced advanced versions of metal cylinder rockets. These rockets turned fortunes in favor of the Sultanate of Mysore during the Second Anglo-Mysore War, particularly during the Battle of Pollilur. In turn, the Mysorean rockets were the basis for the Congreve rockets, which Britain deployed in the Napoleonic Wars against France and the War of 1812 against the United States. Science. Astronomy. While there appears to have been little concern for theoretical astronomy, Mughal astronomers made advances in observational astronomy and produced nearly 100 Zij treatises. Humayun built a personal observatory near Delhi. Jahangir and Shah Jahan were also intending to build observatories, but were unable to do so. The astronomical instruments and observational techniques used at the Mughal observatories were mainly derived from Islamic astronomy. In the 17th century, the Mughal Empire saw a synthesis between Islamic and Hindu astronomy, where Islamic observational instruments were combined with Hindu computational techniques. During the decline of the Mughal Empire, the Hindu king Jaya Singh II of Amber continued the work of Mughal astronomy. In the early 18th century, he built several large observatories called Yantra Mandirs in order to rival Ulugh Beg's Samarkand Observatory and in order to improve on the earlier Hindu computations in the Siddhantas and Islamic observations in Zij-i-Sultani. The instruments he used were influenced by Islamic astronomy, while the computational techniques were derived from Hindu astronomy. Chemistry. Saqi Din Mahommed had learned much of Mughal chemistry and understood the techniques used to produce various alkali and soaps to produce shampoo. He was also a notable writer who described the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II and the cities of Allahabad and Delhi in rich detail and also made note of the glories of the Mughal Empire. In Britain, Saqi Din Mahommed was appointed as shampooing surgeon to both Kings George IV and William IV. Metallurgy. One of the most remarkable astronomical instruments invented in Mughal India is the seamless celestial globe. It was invented in Kashmir by Ali Kashmiri ibn Luqman in 998 AH, and 20 other such globes were later produced in Lahore and Kashmir during the Mughal Empire. Before they were rediscovered in the 1980s, it was believed by modern metallurgists to be technically impossible to produce metal globes without any seams.